The Haunting of the Empty House. It was a quiet neighborhood, the kind where children's laughter once echoed, but now the air felt thick with silence. At the end of the street stood an abandoned house, its windows shattered and its wooden walls warped from years of neglect. Locals avoided it, their whispers carrying tales of ghostly apparitions and eerie cries at night. Mira, a curious and bold university student, had heard these rumors countless times. One weekend, armed with her camera and a flashlight, she decided to explore the house. She was skeptical of ghosts and thought it would make for an interesting story to share with her friends. The front gate creaked as she pushed it open, the sound piercing the quiet evening. The overgrown garden was tangled with weeds, and the faint scent of decay lingered in the air. Mira hesitated for a moment, but her curiosity drove her forward. The wooden front door groaned as she pushed it open, despohind, revealing a dark and musty interior. The air inside was colder than outside, and Mira felt a shiver run down her spine. She switched on her flashlight, the beam cutting through the gloom. Dust particles danced in the air, and the floor creaked beneath her every step. The house was eerily quiet, save for the occasional drip of water from a leaking pipe. The living room was filled with old, broken furniture covered in white sheets, giving them the appearance of ghosts themselves. Mira took a few photos, her camera's flash momentarily illuminating the room. As she moved deeper into the house, Mira heard a faint sound, a soft, melodious humming. She froze, her heart racing. The sound came from upstairs. Gathering her courage, she climbed the staircase, each step protesting under her weight. The humming grew louder as she reached the landing. It was coming from one of the bedrooms. The door was slightly ajar, and a dim, flickering light spilled out into the hallway. Mira pushed the door open, her flashlight trembling in her hand. Inside, the room was empty, save for an old rocking chair that swayed gently, as if someone had just risen from it. A broken mirror hung on the wall, its jagged surface reflecting distorted images. The humming stopped abruptly, and the silence was deafening. Mira stepped closer to the rocking chair, her breath shallow. Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. She felt as though she were being watched. Turning toward the mirror, she froze. In its cracked surface, she saw the reflection of a woman standing behind her. Dressed in a tattered white gown, her long black hair obscured her face. The figure swayed slightly, her head tilted at an unnatural angle. Mira spun around, but no one was there. When she looked back at the mirror, the woman was closer, her face now partially visible. Pale skin, sunken eyes, and a mouth twisted into a chilling smile. The Kuntilanak let out a bone-chilling laugh, the sound echoing through the room. Mira stumbled backward, her flashlight falling to the floor and flickering out. In the darkness, she heard the creak of the rocking chair and the soft padding of bare feet moving toward her. Panicking, Mira fumbled for her flashlight. When she finally managed to turn it on, the beam illuminated the Kuntilanak standing inches away from her. The ghost let out a piercing scream, and Mira bolted from the room, her heart pounding in her chest. She ran down the stairs, the Kuntilanak's laughter following her. As she reached the front door, it slammed shut on its own. Mira tugged at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. A sudden gust of wind extinguished her flashlight, plunging her into darkness. She could feel the presence of the Kuntilanak drawing closer, the air around her growing colder. Mira closed her eyes and whispered a prayer, tears streaming down her face. The laughter stopped, replaced by an oppressive silence. She opened her eyes to find the door wide open. Without looking back, she ran into the night, not stopping until she was safely back at her dorm. Mira never spoke of her experience at the abandoned house. She avoided that street entirely, the memories too horrifying to confront. But sometimes, late at night, she could still hear the faint